Hello, Mingla Bashe. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Learn English with me. So today, I want to talk to you about three key elements that are essential for success as a language learner. So those three things are mindset, role models, and consistency. Okay, so these things are really important. And I'm going to give you examples of how I adopted all of these things, these elements in my language learning journey, and how you can do them as well. These things are, first of all, interconnected. They're connected to one another. They all play a really big role in helping you achieve your goals, your language goals, and reach fluency in the language that you want to be fluent in your target language. Okay, so let's dive in and take a closer look at each of them. So let's talk about mindset, first of all. So, what is mindset? Well, the way we think about ourselves, our ability can have a huge impact on our success as language learners. It's important to have a positive growth mindset. I think you might have heard about this phrase, growth mindset, this term. Okay, which means that believing in our abilities, believing in ourselves that our abilities can be developed through effort and dedication. Right? So this mindset is crucial for overcoming obstacles and pushing through difficult moments because you're going to experience them on your language learning throughout your language learning journey. Okay. So the opposite side of the spectrum is having a fixed mindset, and having a fixed mindset is definitely going to stop you from pushing through those obstacles. So what is having a fixed mindset? Well, having a fixed mindset is a belief that our abilities are fixed and that cannot be changed. They cannot be changed whatsoever. So if you believe that, we're likely going to fail, right? Because we're going to stop persevering and we're going to stop ourselves from reaching our goals. So it's important to remember that the ability to learn a language is not a talent, right? It's a skill, and skills need to be developed, and skills can be developed, but they won't come easily. They can be developed only through hard work and persistent. So I'm going to give you some examples of what a fixed mindset person would think of in terms when it comes to language learning, and what a growth mindset person would think of. Okay, so a fixed mindset person would think about language learning in terms of these kind of sentences. They'll probably say something like, I'll never be able to speak this language perfectly, so what's the point of trying? Right? So you're already failing even before you begin. Or you might say something like this in your mind: I'm too old to learn a language, or I'm too old to learn a new language. I'll stick with what I know. You're already again failing, right? You're thinking yourself, you're limiting yourself that with the fact that you're older and you won't be able to learn a new language just because of that. Another example would be thinking that you cannot keep up with this language, the changes in this language, so you're just going to give up, right? So these are the kind of things that will be considered having a fixed mindset, and this is the kind of thing that will stop you from getting to the next stage of the language learning journey. You're going to stop even before you begin. So let me rephrase all of those three sentences in a different way, right? Let's think about what a growth mindset person would think like. You can, instead of saying giving up, you're going to have a different mindset. So instead of saying that this is something that you cannot achieve, you're going to change that into a different perspective. You're going to say something like, I know that I'll never be done with learning this language, but I'm excited to continue improving. And that's the exact mindset that I had when I started learning. I knew that this is going to be a lifelong journey, and I accepted that even though I was a very young language learner. I knew that this is going to be going to take a whole lifetime, but I was really excited about improving, and I was really excited about continuing to learn for the sake of learning, for the sake of gaining knowledge, not for any kind of end goal. Another way of reframing our mind to a growth mindset would be saying something like, I might not be fluent yet is the key word, but I'm committed to lifelong learning and practicing regularly, right? So you are accepting you're accepting the fact that your language fluency is not up to a certain level of proficiency, or a certain level that you want to be at yet is the key word, but you are going to continue learning for a lifetime, and you're going to practice regularly as well. Another example would be like forgiving yourself for making mistakes. You're undoubtedly going to make mistakes, and it's okay. I make mistakes all the time, and I'm okay with it, because mistakes are the best way for us to learn and to improve, right? So you can reframe this. If you have a fear of making mistakes while speaking a new language, you can reframe this in your in a growth mindset by saying something like this: I may make mistakes, but I'll keep learning, I'll keep practicing, and I'll keep adapting to the changes of this language. So this is the way to have a growth mindset. And I had all of that when I started learning the language. I'm not saying this to blow my own horn, but to highlight the importance of having a growth mindset. So if you're thinking about starting out learning learning something new, have a growth mindset. Okay. So just remember, growth mindset in language learning means that you understand the process of learning a language is not a linear one. It's never going to be like this. It's always going to be a lifelong journey with ups and downs, and accept that. And the sooner you accept that, the better it will be for you. Okay, so that's the first one. The first one being the mindset. Okay, we're going to talk about the second thing now, the role models. Okay, so having someone to look up to and emulate can be incredibly motivating and inspiring. A role model can be anybody, though, anybody who speaks the language you're learning fluently. So in my life, right, I had a lot of really good role models, and they were role models that I was living with, which was very lucky for me. And I'm super grateful for that. My parents, my grandparents were all very good teachers of and learners of English language. My grandmother was actually the first person who taught me English, and she was a great role model because she read, she continued reading, she continued learning in front of me, even though she was like, 70 or 60, 80 years old. I observed her learning, and that action of being the role model in front of me really inspired me and helped me continue learning as well. So, you know what they say, actions speak louder than words. And that is exactly what my grandmother did. And I guess she really inspired me to have a better version of myself, right? So what happens if you don't have this kind of role model in your life? Well, you might think that role models must be like teachers, or role models must be people who are very successful. Role models can be your friends also, your friends who are dedicated, who have reached a certain level of proficiency that you really wish that you could reach as well, right? So if you have a friend who's also a language learner like you can also consider them to be a role model if they're doing something really impressive that you would like to achieve, and you can follow their example as well, right? But there are also times, right? Sometimes it's really difficult to find a role model. And that's when you need to remember that you can also be your own role model, right? So think about it. If you set an example for yourself and others, you'll be inspiring people around you too, right? So that responsibility, that sense of responsibility of setting yourself for success is going to help you continue in this language learning journey as well. So be consistent with your efforts, and don't be afraid to share your journey, which is why I think it's a great idea when you're starting out on your language learning journey to share with other people your ups and downs, because it's inspirational for others, it helps the others, and it also helps you to know that there are other people who are going through the same situation as you. So you might be lucky enough to be born with people who are role models around you, but if you don't have that, you can also be your role models, right? So to conclude this part, right? Role models, they're like a compass that guide you like towards your goal. think of it that way. You can be your own compass as well. You can be your own guiding star. Okay. So you're going to stay motivated. You're going to stay inspired. You're going to keep on staying on track because of the role models that you aspire to be. But you're also going to continue doing all these things because you trust in yourself, right? So if you can find one, be one yourself and for others. Okay. Just remember to take action. All right. So I'm going to now talk about the last one. Okay. I've been talking so fast. I need to like have a little drink of water. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about is consistency. Now, this is something that is really difficult for a lot of people. Consistently working hard is something that a lot of people struggle with. So, but consistency is also the key in making progress in language learning. So it's important to set aside a regular time to study and practice, whether that's a few minutes every day or an hour or two or times a week or a few times a week, right? You have to dedicate a certain time in your day or in your week for this for a long period of time. It can't just be one day of studying and then you do not study at all for the next 20 days, right? So the key is to stick to a schedule and make language learning a habit. So it should be something like a habit is something that you do every day, right? So if you brush your teeth every day, that's a habit, right? You have to make language learning a part of your life, something that you just do as a part of your everyday activity, not something that you skip. You wouldn't skip eating breakfast. You wouldn't skip brushing your teeth. So why should you skip taking time to learn a language, the language that you want to learn, the target language? So with consistency, right, you will see progress over time, and then you'll be able to reach your goals, right? So when I was younger, I really just wanted to be able to speak English language. I think that English language brought so much excitement, so much fun into my life, right? Because I grew up in Myanmar. The government schools were really boring and they were quite traumatic. We had a lot of like teachers who were there to like punish you physically sometimes and verbally abuse you as well. So those environments were very negative. But what I knew is that when I learn English language, there's such a positive it's such a positive experience. I get to learn some new things which are not outdated data from the textbook, for example. And that was exactly what I was excited about. But I was also consistent. It's not just because I was interested in the topics, but I was also consistent with my practice, right? So it wasn't really easy at all. I had a really busy schedule, just like anybody did. We had to go to school, we had to do homework, we had to go to private classes. All of these were like really busy, right? But I made sure that I took, the time to practice English language every single day. And I mean every single day. I am not kidding, right? So I had a lot of resources and support though, because my parents were able to provide me with books. And I also had a really good role model at home, my grandmother, whom I could ask questions regarding regarding English language. So I was really lucky in that sense. So I understand it would be very difficult for some people who do not have those support systems or the people who can help them out. So I really do understand that this is difficult. However, at this day and age, there are quite a lot of resources freely available for us. So if there's a will, there will be a way, right? So you have to remember that. So, I was really consistent and dedicated. When I think back about those days, I'm really impressed with myself. Even when there was like power cuts, we had no power in the evenings, right? I would just like use candles and I would just sit down and make sure that I finish all of the exercises that I set myself up to do. And now this is not the kind of exercises that my parents or schools were asking me to do. These were just exercises that I decided that I wanted to finish for the day. So that's how dedicated and consistent I was. So you need to have that attitude as well. I didn't go out to play. I didn't go out to spend time with people if I hadn't finished my work. I also consistently asked my parents used to buy me books. If I had ran out of books to practice, I just tell my mom, I'm like, Mom, I need more books to practice. And she always like really supported me. So I'm super grateful to my mom. I love you, Mom. So that's something that I had throughout my childhood, and I'm forever grateful for that. And you know something? The all of the consistency and hard work paid off because I didn't give up. My language skills really improved. I was able to communicate to more effectively, efficiently with people around me, foreigners and Burmese people alike. I achieved my dream. I am now working as an assistant professor in Japan, teaching English. I've been teaching English in higher education for 12 years now. So all of these three things really helped me become the person that I am today. And I think that this is something that everybody can achieve more or less with some difficulty, some variation, but we can all achieve this level of proficiency if we really work hard and really want it, right? So I'm gonna just end my video here. I think it might be just getting too long here, right? I talked about mindset, I talked about role models and consistency, right? These are all essential elements for success as a language learner. Think about them and reflect on them. If you by adopting a growth mindset, finding a role model or being your own role model and being consistent in your efforts will help you become fluent in your target language. So remember, language learning is a challenging but rewarding journey. Look at my life. Without being able to speak English, I wouldn't be where I am today, doing research, traveling around the world, having a good job, being able to take care of myself and my family, my parents. This is the reward of consistently working really hard. So stay positive, stay motivated, and keep pushing forward. And thank you for watching this really, really, really long video. And I'm really out of breath now, so I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to end the video here. If you are interested in learning more about how you can be a better language learner, please follow my Facebook page, Learn English with May, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and see you all again very soon.